Hey everyone, welcome back to Pick of the Week. This time I'm featuring the self-titled debut album by Kid C Ghost on Def Jam Recordings from 2018. Now, if you didn't already know, Kid C Ghost is the collaboration between Kanye West and Kid Cudi, and I gotta say, it is fantastic. It is, I believe, the third in a series of 5 albums that Kanye West released over the summer of 2018. Out of all of those, I will say that this one resonates with me the most. I was so impressed with this record. From the get-go, it hooked me in. From a production standpoint, it is fantastic, and I think that's what really gripped me. Just the variety, the feeling, the mood, the tone of this record, not to mention the wonderful cover art, just sucked me right in, and it continues to evolve with me. From the first time I heard this to now, the record has totally shifted. I know it's the same music, but somehow it just sounds different to me the more I dive into the lyrics. And again, I'm only scratching the surface on this Pick of the Week. There is a lot to unpack with this record, but suffice it to say, this really represents both Kanye West and Kid Cudi's struggle with mental health. And instead of making a very bleak record, they instead come at this at the tail end, finding themselves. This record is that process, and it's so fascinating to listen to it and hear both men speak about their own experiences in a rather candid way, but also very poetic through their raps. It is full of pathos in a way, just in some ways humbling, but in other ways not so humbling, but more recognition of that ego. Those are just some of the many themes of this record. And so with all that said, let's dive into this track by track. First up, we have Feel the Love, and already we're treated to this lovely chorus line singing the title of the song by Kid Cudi. Handling the first verse, we have Pusha T, and I have to imagine that this must have come out of Kanye West producing his album Daytona. With Pusha T's verse, I like pretty much all of it. I love how he changes up his flow throughout several different lines, and I especially like his references to Eazy-E throughout. They're subtle but really poignant.
I am not too big compared to you rappers. Easy does it, nigga.
What really works for me is Kanye West vocalizing these drum hits. They are just so good. They're infectious. They just get to you. Other people have noted that this is very reminiscent of Gunfire, and now that that's been planted in my head, I totally hear what people are saying, but that wasn't what I initially thought. But it just shows you how talented Kanye West really is. I just would not expect this coming from him, but it gives me a little window into maybe how he works creatively. Maybe in the early stages of producing, he'll just kind of lay down scratch tracks of him doing the drum beat that he wants. So whether or not that's true, I don't know, but I still enjoy the inclusion of it on this record. Overall, I love the production of this song. I especially like how it gets into this kind of dreamlike, serene chorus section.
What a chorus!
I kind of feel like this represents Kanye West and Kid Cudi burying the hatchet, because a couple of years ago they had a falling out between the two of them, but now they've obviously come back together and they are just collaborating again, which is so great to hear. Track 2 is Fire, and I was so surprised to learn that they sampled They're Coming to Take Me Away. That's a song that reaches back into my childhood, listening to Dr. Demento and knowing that either Kanye West is just a genius when it comes to sampling obscure songs, or just the people that he works with pulled that song. Regardless, it adds this extra layer of just reinforcing the theme of this record, dealing with mental health. I mean, here we have a song that, if you listen to the original, it's a comedy song, but it's about getting taken away to the funny farm. Plus, the drums just really work on this track.
I love all your shit talking.
Another thing I really enjoy about this is the triple tracked singing that happens towards the end with Kid Cudi. Opening up track 3, Fourth Dimension, we have a sample by Louis Prima. Now, for those of you who have been following the show for a long time, you know that Louis Prima is one of my favorite artists, and to hear Kanye West sample him is so cool, man. I really enjoy Kanye West's verse on here. I love how well it flows from line to line. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite or it's his most successful on here, but it's definitely a standout among all the other tracks.
That's too new to mention. Won't fit in a sentence. If I get locked up, I won't finish the sentence.
I love this creepy laugh that happens right before Kid Cudi comes in. There's just something about it that really harkens back to that going to the funny farm idea. So riding outside A, we have Freeee, Ghost Town Part 2, and there is a lot to unpack here, so bear with me. Before I get into the actual song, let's just talk about Ghost Town Part 1, which is off of Kanye West's Ye album. So that song in itself, it has, it's my favorite off of that record, and it has a more neo-soul feel to it. There's a lot of singing on there, or sing-talking, depending how you interpret it. And I really like how well these two songs flow when you play them back to back. This song in particular opens with a sample from a Marcus Garvey speech he gave right before he was sent off to jail for mail fraud. And in this speech, he talks about how by knowing himself, he will remain free even though he sits in jail.
When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment.
Now, both Kid Cudi and Kanye West resonate with this speech, and I have to assume because they put it on the head of this song, and they expound on that idea, sort of relating it back to their own mental health, drug issues.
Still, I'm out of my past life. Died and came back twice. Now I'm free.
One of my favorite moments happens right after the first verse. We're treated to this lovely refrain, and it's around this spot where I swear I can hear a sample of Radiohead's Karma Police just tucked into the mix. I could be totally wrong, but listen for yourself. I really enjoy this song because it has this very positive outlook. After both men have kind of gone through their own mental demons, they found inner peace, and it's freeing for them. I am free is what keeps being repeated, and I think it's so telling of where these two are at in their career. To have this sort of epiphany and express it in this way is really quite lovely. Opening up side B, we have Reborn, and this is hands down my favorite song on this record. It is just so well produced, but I think more than that, it's the positive nature of this song that really resonates with me, especially in Kid Cudi's chorus. Here he's singing about keeping the faith and keep moving forward. Don't let the demons drag you down. Your problems in your life prevent you from doing what you love. And man, again, it just reinforces the theme of this record.
I'm moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward.
Kanye's verse on here is more like a confession of his own mental health and issues with drug addiction. And just sort of how he talks about how his shame about those things has fueled his creativity.
I was off the meds, I was called insane. What an awesome thing, engulfed the shame. I want all the rain, I want all the pain.
But what really seals the deal for me is Kid Cudi's verse and how just he cuts to the chase. Again, talking about his own mental health, his drug issues, and just how he's learned that peace comes from within. You're not gonna find it in other people. It has to start from within. You have to want to change, and how profound that is, and how just refreshing it is to hear about his vulnerabilities, how he really felt low and worthless, but through his faith, he was able to rise above that and move forward.
Times wonder my purpose. Easy then to feel worthless, but peace is something that starts with me.
And then the bridge comes in with this lovely spoken word and singing, both by Kid Cudi. And in it, he speaks on his self-doubt, but then singing is his mantra of keep moving forward. It's really, really well done.
Keep looking for my way out. Keep moving from the storm. Which way do I go?
The organ that goes throughout this song really underscores the idea of spirituality and how keeping the faith and having faith in a higher power help these guys get through some of their darkest days. Track 2 is Kids See Ghosts, and I love the overall production of this song, but more especially, I like how they play with the idea of religion on here. On the one literal level, you have Kids See Ghosts, like literally, it's been reported that kids of a certain age can see spirits, right? But then you peel back another layer and you have kids see ghosts, kids as in Kid Cudi and Kanye West see ghosts, as in the Holy Ghost, as in seeing the God that they believe in, right? And so this track plays with that idea a lot. And in Kid Cudi's verse in particular, you really hear more of his checking himself into rehab and just sort of finding faith in his darkest hour.
Same thing in a room, sitting by myself, finding heaven soon.
Kanye West verse, you get a little bit of that towards the middle, but then he kind of goes off track and talks about how famous he is, and I don't know, he kind of loses me by the end, but he does touch on it.
Got a Bible by my bed, oh yes, I'm very Christian. Constantly repenting, cause yes, I never listen.
I like the idea of finding the light through the darkness. Again, reinforcing the overall theme of this record. Ending the record, we have Cudi Montage, and this opens with a Kurt Cobain sample from the song Burn the Rain. Wow, this song, especially Kid Cudi's contribution to it, is just, it's beautiful. It's a borderline spiritual, if that makes any sense. It blurs that line, and just touching again on the themes of staying strong, keeping the faith, working through your issues, and come out at the other side of that as a better person. Just beautiful ideas. Overall, this song is very inspirational. Just a lovely way to close the album.
Here we go again, God, shine your love on me. Save me, please.
And for Kanye's part, he's going on about just an issue we have here in America of gun violence and how good intentions can lead to people falling through the cracks and ending up in prison. And it's not resolved. Like, he doesn't give any answers to that. Overall, this song, while it has a very inspiring message, it does leave it open-ended. It doesn't necessarily resolve on a happy tone, which I think is very poignant and very, very well done.
When she heard the news, I heard a bone deep. Caught with the rifle with the long reach.
All right, so let's briefly talk about the packaging. On the cover, we have this lovely artwork done by Takashi Murakami. And if you are familiar with his work, you will know that he did Kanye West's graduation album art. Very different style, but this is just beautiful. You have some kanji right here, which I believe says Kids See Ghosts. I'm not entirely sure. On the back there, you just get a blown up section of a tree in the front cover. Get the track listings right there. On the inside, we have a very plain full color insert with legal stuff, and then we have credits on the other side. The record itself came in this poly sleeve. The labels themselves are rather plain, but they get the job done, and I actually really enjoy the look of them. Kids See Ghosts, fantastic album. I am just so happy that this finally came out on vinyl. Highly encourage you guys to check it out. It is just a wonderful ode to finding yourself through your demons, coming to terms with all of that. And I think in some ways it's a reflection of both men getting into their middle ages and reflecting of where they've gone, their success, and where they have yet to go. And it's just fantastic to hear these two artists come together and make such a fantastic record. Not to mention all the guest artists on here. I didn't get to mention everybody on here, but there are some fantastic contributions. Man, it's almost too short at 7 songs, but honestly, there's no filler on here. It goes by so quick, but it's just lush and full, and it begs you for repeated listens. So please do yourself a favor, check out this record if you haven't already, and if you have, be sure to let me know what you think of it with a comment down below. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side.